Good evening, everybody. Going to be getting on the way in a little bit here. Today is, again, it's about experimentation. It's about trying things out, trying to get things work, and learning along the way. That's the plan, is to mess around with HTML and CSS and JavaScript a bit, see if we can get something like what you're seeing on screen right now, actually. But we'll see how we do, see how we fare. We've got a 3-hour time limit, because I want to be done by 8. So this might be a multi-week project, and if it is, that's fine. This kind of stuff takes time. But we're going to be getting underway in about 4 minutes. So take the time to go grab yourself a cuppa. Settle in, listen to the tunes, and we'll start off in a little bit. Jack, all this music is off a hold on, let me bring it down a bit. This is all off an app called Pretzel, or Pretzel Rocks. It is essentially music that has been collated and cleared for use on Twitch and on YouTube. So in theory, and this, I use the word in theory very lightly, everything that I'm playing shouldn't get muted. Occasionally I do have to send a request to say, hey, I have the rights to this, but thank you very much for following, Nev. Let me get you a link for that, actually. So, Pretzel Rocks. So it's DMCA safe music for Twitch and YouTube. Their library for YouTube is a lot smaller just because of the way that things work. And occasionally, tracks do get flagged. And just as you said that, the thing broke. I'm trying to give you a glowing recommendation here, and you decide to just completely shut down. They've got a bunch of playlists. Their music selection isn't as wide as I'd like. A lot of the music has some vocal in it. ICOY have that little sting that you heard there at the beginning of every track, and it actually infuriates me because it is it doesn't follow the beat. It's always the same. So we'll just throw our tag on it. We don't care at what tempo we do it. We don't care. It's always the same tag as well. So yeah, slightly infuriating, but it's free music. I'm not going to complain. But yeah, I do wish they had more instrumentals and less vocal tracks, just because if you're streaming and talking, having a track with vocals in the background is very distracting, not just for the stream themselves, but also for the viewer, because as you can imagine, you're dealing with two voices, right? and if the levels aren't quite right, it's very difficult to pick those voices apart. So it has its benefits, it has its drawbacks, but I got in fairly early when they launched, so I'm sort of grandfathered in on their old pricing. I think they charge something like, I think they charge about $7 a month, which isn't bad in the grand scheme of things. I know there are, free alternatives out there like Stream Beats, stuff on Spotify. The thing with Spotify is sometimes it just goes off and does its own thing, and just, decides to play a track that you weren't expecting it to. Yes, hello. Welcome to the Pinnacle Larder. This might be familiar to some of you. But the plan today is to do a bit of coding. Coding? Do you call it coding if it's a web page? Web dev? I don't know. I call it coding because it uses code. But some people seem to be very tetchy about, oh well, it's actually a markup language, not a coding language. It's like, it's the same thing in essence. But yeah, we're going to be doing a bit of messing around with HTML, a bit of messing around with CSS, which is the way that web pages kind of style their things, and a bit of messing around with JavaScript as well. Full disclosure, I am not an expert. I don't claim to be an expert in these things. But I'm learning. There's lots of resources out there. And I've already built a few things that work, in quotation marks, work, but today we're going to be stepping it up a level, I think. Both the things that I made previously were for one purpose, for one stream, which was for the poker stream that we did last Saturday. This one I'm hoping is going to have a bit more longevity, because it's going to be at the start of every stream. So there might need to be less bodging involved. That's what I'm saying here, is we might need to do a little less bodging. But we are going to be starting from scratch. We are going to be, well, not as in basics, nothing on the page, not scratch as in the coding language, because that also gets confusing. But yeah, the only way to learn is by doing, I've found. Tutorials are all well and good, but they shouldn't be the be-all and end-all. More bodge. As much as I love the art of the bodge, it has to be said that when you're just using it for when you're just using it for one purpose, bodger. God, what have I started? When you're just using it for a one-off, it's fine. But as soon as it leaves that little fenced-off area that you've made for it, or something unexpected happens, it all just falls apart. just stuck together with sellotape. Sticky tape and PVA glue. It's essentially, bodging is like the Blue Peter of arts and crafts. And that is a reference that only the British people in the chat will get, I realise. But yeah, let's take a look at what we're dealing with today. So the plan is to do something that looks like, where are we? Mushroom, of course. That looks like that. Now the thing with that is that's actually just an image carousel right now. In fact, we can go down and we can take a look. Where are we? Oh, forgot my mug. There we go. So what we've got set up here, on the left we've got HTML, on the right we've got JavaScript and CSS. So what we're going to be doing is, I've done a bit already with the leaderboards, and I'm going to be drawing on that for inspiration of how to look at this problem, but also, I mean, let's show you what I've done so far. Why not? So this was a leaderboard that we made for the poker tournament. And as you can see, when it turns on, or when I refresh it, it animates in. And all that animation is done through CSS, cascading style sheets. But the actual information that's being loaded in is done through JavaScript. So what I want to do is I sort of want to replicate some of that. I think what we need is because if you're looking at it, right, there's a period where there's, I'm just checking now, I'm waiting for it to trigger, but I believe there's a period where there are two different pieces of text on screen. So we might have to do a bit of a trick here. Yeah. So we can either fudge it a bit and have one piece of text go off screen, disappear, go to the other side of the screen, come on after it's changed, which is probably going to be the easier way of doing it. Or we have the other way, which is to have two pieces of text and have one shoving the other off. Let's get one moving first. I think that's the way to go, is to just get one piece of text moving off screen, reappearing, moving off screen, reappearing, moving off screen. I think that's the way forward. The other thing that I did the other day was this. So this is a blinds timer for poker. But the thing is, it uses you can see there's buttons in the bottom right, bottom left corner here. And when I start it, it starts counting down. So we do also have the opportunity to add the countdown into the web page, but that might be a little bit more advanced, and also it won't automatically advance the scene. But maybe it doesn't need to. Maybe once the timer's over, it can just go to going live and hold on that. This is the creative process. These are the ideas I'm having right now. But the other thing about that is it uses something called intervals. So we can set intervals for when things are going to move. Thank you, Nev. Yes. Welcome to welcome to our little pub in the Antarctic Ocean, Pinnacle Larder. So I think the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we're referencing the right things. And this is where I'm going to have to reference my old work. Yeah, okay. So effectively what we're doing is we're linking these projects together. So this is telling this HTML file here that this is the style sheet I want to use. This is the CSS code I want to use. And then this here is telling it that this is the script I want to use. Let's I'm just going to move this into the bottom corner for a bit, so it's out of the way. So that's the start, is we've linked these things together. Next thing we need to do is we need to work out how on earth we're going to display this. Because the actual page itself is quite simple. It's one piece of body text, right? That's bang in the center. We know approximately where it needs to be.
You really mustn't, darling.
Let me get my leaderboard stuff out. So I'm moving this stuff down here for reference so we can see it. And now I've realised, do you know what? Let's change that. We're going to put this over here instead. Just so it's not in the way. I think we only used one. We only used one thing for that. Then leaderboard style. Okay. We're going to put those down here instead. So what we're doing with the HTML here, this is how I understand it. Again, full disclosure, I am an amateur. I learn by doing, and this is all I've done so far. But effectively, we have a division, which is supposedly something that takes up the entire width of the page. So it's sort of like a box, it's a container. And then we have a paragraph element here, the P. I always mark things with an ID, just so I can call them specifically, but also you can add classes. And classes are what we use in the style sheet here. So, for instance, I've got the wrong one up. So, for instance, you can see these have got classes here. And if we look here, dot title means that anything that has the class title, this would apply to. So that's what the dot means. The dot means anything with this class. The hash means anything with this ID. So this would only apply to this here, this span. Which covers basically the whole page. And then what else? You've got body, which is just an element, the whole body of the script, of the page. TD, which is table, it's basically table cell. A lot of the stuff I did with the leaderboard and the blinds timer, well, a lot of stuff with the leaderboard and seating display is using tables and just making them look fancy. This is our animation here. So we just set some keyframes, we give it a name, we tell it, okay, at the start we want it like this, at the end we want it like this. You can specify different things throughout, and then you apply that animation to whatever you need in the CSS. So those are the basic elements. So I think we start off with a division, right? We start off with a container. In that container, we need, I want to say 2 text elements. But I'm not 100% certain at this point. I'll start with 1. So let's just go your text here. Now, if I've done this right, and I reload this. Oh, I need to save it first. Duh. Interesting. It's not reloading yet. Is there a reason for that? Or is it just very... I think the first thing I'm going to do is set a background. Just so we can see what's going on. And we'll make it, what's a good colour? Not bright pink. Because that, my eyes will not handle that right now. We'll make it this. For now. Right, let's try it again, shall we? See if this shows up. Maybe I don't have... Is it because I don't have a body tag? Is that why? Try again. Still nothing. Makes me think something's gone wrong. Okay, hold on. Refresh browser, refresh cache. Okay. Refresh. Why are you not working? That is very odd. That is very odd indeed. Why is this not showing? What have I done this for... Let's do it for any paragraph then. Sure. It's not like a... I don't know, I'm missing. No, okay. Try again. Okay, there we go. You can just barely see it at the top of the screen there, where it says your text here. We've made a start. So if I do this to body... Interesting. That's very interesting. Let's set a page background color. How do I do that? Okay. Right, let's use this on the device instead. That should... Okay. Let me get back on screen. There we go. So I just had to take the camera away for a little bit so I could see what was happening. So we've got that. That doesn't look right. Where are we? Yeah, that's fine. Let's change the font color. Might be worth us hold on. Yeah, that's fine. Let's change the font size to... I have it set to 256 in the main bit. So we'll try that. Okay. I mean, it's getting there. Now what we want to do is we want to center it. So how did I do this here? So IDLB. Let's try that. I'm also going to quickly check to see if there's a way that I can refresh it without having to go into OBS every time, so bear with me. Yeah. And then we go OBS. Where's OBS? So a way to open source settings, replay buffer, chapter marker, record pause, source visibility. Yeah, let's do that. So now that'll turn it off, that'll turn it on. Okay, we're getting there. Now for some reason it's decided to go onto a new line. Why is that? It's centered at least. Is it font width? Is that why? No. Also, we possibly shouldn't be moving the duration. Maybe we move this into and have this stuff in there instead. Oh, and now the device is completely disappeared. Right, why are you like that? Is it a viewport problem? No, it's set to 1920 by 1080. Okay, what is causing that problem? Let's just comment this out a second. So that goes the whole way across. Now let's bring this back in. I'm assuming it's going to do that. Interesting. Also, we probably want this to be actually 40%, just because we want it to be slightly higher than the middle. Also, where is it? Okay, so we know that's causing a problem. Let's just do this instead, so that at least it's centered. That's a start. Oh, it might be that. That's for the divisor, the container. Left and right align, left and right align. Clear fix. Center vertically using padding. Okay, let's set. The height and the width this area we've set out is the full window. We'll turn that off for a second. So now that we know that, so what we've done so far, just to summarize, we've made a container. This is what this div is here. We've told it that everything in that container, first of all, that container has a background color. Everything in that container is in this font, which is TWSenMT, which is the one that we use for the stream. I do need to change some properties about that to make it condensed. But that's something we can do later. That's an easy fix. I'll just need to find it. We've told it that we want the font color to be white, which is FFF. Sometimes you only need 3. I don't know why, but sometimes you can just do it with 3 pieces of the hex code for the color instead of the full 6. Sometimes it just accepts it. I assume it's short codes. And then your font size. This is the size of the font. We're setting it to 256 at the moment, just because that's what we've got it set to in the main overlay. I want to change that because if we change the size of the window, so, oh, no. There. So basically, if we change the window size at the moment, this 256 is going to stay the same. So if I was to, for some reason, if I wanted to stream at 4K or 720 in the future, this wouldn't be future-proofed. This would be significantly smaller. And we've just told it that the container needs to take up the whole page. Height 100, width 100. The actual paragraph, we've told it to align the text to center. So far, that's how we've got this. What we need to do now is, so I'm just going to change this note.
I saw him when I walked, boy.
That's a note for later. That is something we don't need to bother with right now. But there are ways in which we can fix that. I'm now trying to think how we can do this next bit. So how do we center? So we could do, I mean, vertical align middle is a given. So I think what that's doing is it's not vertically aligning in the page because we've got it in the paragraph bit here. It is vertically aligning in the paragraph. So if we were to make something very long, so for instance, your very long-winded monologue text here, then that would, I mean, that's a bad example because it takes up the whole page. Let's try that instead. No, that's not what it does. Okay, interesting. But in theory, we shouldn't be going over, we shouldn't be spilling over onto a second line anyway. There are ways in which we can, I know this is possible because I've seen it, scale the font size so that if the text is too large, it goes, okay, I'm just going to compress everything or make everything smaller. Realistically, I don't want to do that, but that could be something we look at in future. So let's have a look. If we say that this has an absolute position of bottom 50%. That doesn't help us. Okay. What else can we do? Is there... Can we just do margin auto? No. Oh wait, change the position from absolute. No. Okay. What else do we have? We could. Wait, so what's the... Okay, interesting. Okay. Let's go. Flex. Align items center. Is this gonna work? Yes! Now the only problem is that it is too... Well, yes and no. We could just adjust it on the fly. I don't want the vertical line middle. So let's see what happens if we go for very long text. Okay, so it still centers. Okay, well, we've got something. We've got something. We have text on a page, and that's a start. And honestly, that is an achievement so far. That is very much an achievement. Little steps, baby steps. Okay. So what next? So to explain what I've just done, I've changed the display tag for the container we've got, something called a flex, which effectively as I understand it, does what we need it to do. At the moment, this might come back to bite us in the arse later. Because if we put a second text in there, what it's going to try and do is it will try and align them centrally. But what we can do is we can work with this for now until it breaks, and then when it breaks, we know where the problem is. The other thing I want to do, realistically, is I want the bottom of this here let's get rid of margin. I want to see what happens when we do that. Okay. Margin bottom. We're going to set it to 60%. That is too high. Uh, 30. Also, I think we've made the text way too big, because if we compare it to that, it takes up much more of the page. Maybe we set margin bottom at 25%. Maybe that works. We're making progress though, and that's the key thing, is that we're getting somewhere. The next thing I want to do is animate this. Now, oh yeah, you can't see this. What do we call it? We're going to need two, aren't we? We're going to need hide. Transform. Translate. X. Going all the way to the left. So let's just say it. Do percentages work in this? Oh wait, no, 100%. There we go. That's what it was. this animation. Hide. Ease in and out. No, ease in because it's off. It's heading off screen. So what I've done here is I've told it we want an animation called hide that moves it 100% in the X direction. That's probably going to be a minus, actually, come to think of it, because we want it to move to the left, not to the right. And then forwards means we want it to stay there at the end of the animation. So we want that to be its final place. We can change that later. So now, in theory, if I do this, it flies off screen. Yes! Progress! We have made progress. Probably want it to be a little bit slower. That's better. It might be ease in, ease out, just because of the other side. I forget what this 100 milliseconds for. Hold on. Syntax, single animation. Okay, there's a delay. Specify the speaker, film mode, shorthand property. Duration, delay. That's a delay, okay. So if we set this to 30,000, let's say 3,000 for purpose of demonstration, because I don't want to be sitting here for 30 seconds. Go. Okay. Interesting. So what we can do is set a class. Maybe you want this with a delay, so we can set it as soon as the text is shown. So maybe we do want a 30-second delay, or maybe we just trigger it with the script, because that's the next part of this is script, is scripting it so it does it by itself. We are probably going to add this animation to a separate thing that we're going to call dot hide. I wonder, is there a way to reverse an animation? No, because we're okay. And then we'll do So we're just going to put class equals hide in here for now. So translate x, we want at 0% for it to be 100%. Then at 100%, we want it to be at 0. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking. We're going to give this two classes, hide and show. The show class, we're going to have the animation show that runs for a second and happens immediately. Forwards means that at the end of the animation it stays where it is. Like it holds on the final keyframe of the animation. So what we've got here is animation saying we want to add an animation to anything with this class that's currently hide. We're going to change that to show. The name of the animation, which is show. 1,000 milliseconds, which is the amount of time the animation will take. With this, we want ease out. So this is effectively instead of it going at the same speed the whole time, what easing does is it slows it down to the point where it decelerates into its final position. So that's what easing out does in this case. Instead of it, if you were to make a graph of kind of the speed over time, instead of being a straight line, straight across, it would go downwards. And what that would look like if you were to plot the distance over time is it would look like a curve. It would go from a I'm gonna have to get paint out, aren't I? And let's make this bugger it. Okay. Don't want anybody telling me I'm a pirate software clone for doing this. Oh. Does help if I use the right tools. So if we quickly window capture this. It's going to look absolutely dire. Transform. Fit screen. Let's put this behind me here. Oh, great. It's well, that's fantastic. It's also not drawing. That's great. Yeah, you know what? Let's not do paint. Let's not do that. No, don't save my work, because I did no work. Something weird is going on there. But effectively, what it means, easiest way to do it is demonstrate, surely, right? Let's comment this out. No, not the whole thing. So we'll take the ease out of the equation for now. Wait, is it star? There we go. So that still eased out. That's very weird. Then after 30 seconds it should bugger off. That feels like a lot more than 30 seconds. Maybe the forwards is forcing it to stay there. So to show you what I'm doing as a demonstration, is I've got rid of the ease in and ease out, just to kind of show you what it looks like without it. And I'm going to change this to 5,000 just for the sake of brevity. You'll see it came in very fast. Okay, that's not working. Interesting. Huh. Okay, maybe you can't apply two animations to the same thing. Maybe that's a thing. So maybe we have to do it differently. It's fine because we could just apply the animations in JavaScript. But I thought I was going to be incredibly cheeky there and get away with it. So you can have multiple animations. Interesting. Oh. Okay. Seems like I'm not the only person who's done this.
join my following? No, sir. I do not follow.
Okay. So what it is that this line is overwriting this line. So if we were to change this and put this in here, so now we've got two animations, and we're just going to have hide as class for now. So what it's going to do is it's going to show and then hide after 5 seconds. That's the plan. That's what it should do. Let's find out. Comes in. Fucks off again. Great. That worked. That worked surprisingly well. Also, pardon my language. Sorry, I get a little bit sweary sometimes when I run into a brick wall like this. So we can just apply it like that. However, we're going to be changing the text anyway. Oh, hold on. So, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a quick break to restock on tea. I suggest you do the same. You know, get up, stretch, go to the toilet, do what you need to do, clear your mind and body, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes. How does that sound? What a reasonable thing to suggest. I'll be honest, the only reason I'm doing it is because I've run out of tea. So, what I'm going to do is we'll be back in a little bit. I need to do that. Hello. I have tea. Everything is fine. Nothing is on fire. Thankfully. I hope nothing's on fire. Hope you're all doing well out there. Hope you've all had time to go stretch, go do what you need to do. Especially with how bitterly cold it is outside right now. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in the Antarctic Ocean. I mean just generally around the world. friend of mine said that they were experiencing lows of -5 Fahrenheit, which is, I don't know, it's cold, at least. Anyway, let's get back into what we were doing with some code. Okay, there we go. So where were we up to? We got here. That didn't look very eased out, did it? That stops on a dime. Let's try ease in and out. Yeah, that just hits a wall, doesn't it? This is troubling. Well, let's have a look. What if we just do this? Let's hide this for a second. Nope. Just this bit. Just this bit, please. Okay, not the whole line. Jesus Christ. Actually, let's just move this out and make this show instead. It still feels like it comes to a very sudden stop. Like, is there a way to change the easing mode? We could re-keyframe it. So we could say at 75%, we actually want it to have gone to 10%. And then that last 10% takes... Let's have a look. Let's see if that works. I realise I'm doing half of this behind a screen. We're going to take the background colour out for now. Just so that you can see. Interesting. Wow. That felt juttery. 15? Maybe we don't have easing. Is it? Yeah, okay, it's doing one part, easing into that part, and then easing in again. I'm gonna give it a 50 millisecond buffer. This isn't gonna work. Let's put forwards here so that it knows that it's... I think both of them need to ease in and out. Wow, that didn't even ease at all. It might be something to do with the way that I've got it set up. Hold on. Let's just make it slower. Just make it slower. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's just not slow enough. That feels a bit better. Maybe we put it at 15. That... Now this might be placebo effect, but that feels more fluid, right? It's not just me. That feels more fluid. Also, I'm going to cap this on the front end with a 0, just because I don't want it messing up. I mean, it has to stop at some point. That curve isn't going to go on forever. Maybe I'm just too spoiled. Let's go for 2000. I don't know what we should do. Let us take this. We're just going to compare the two. This is going to look awful. I'm going So when it starts moving, I'm going to press the button so we can sort of compare between them. Yeah, okay, that's close enough. You know what? I'm not... It's not perfect, but it's almost there. What I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to do 2 versions of this if we have time, which we might not. Version 1 is going to be like this, where we're just using one piece of text, and then version 2, maybe we do version 2 next week. So the thing with JavaScript is ideally you want to change the code as little as possible. So what I'm probably going to do is, I mean, this is dealt with now, we can put that away. So we're going to set a couple of parameters. So transition time. Equals 30, let's call it. I'm probably going to need stuff from the blinds timer as well, because that's all got interval stuff in it. Which yeah, I think that might be a way forward. Is there's, where is it? In the blinds timer, blind levels, CSV, JavaScript. So if I put this under here, so over here, you see timer interval, set interval, and then 1,000. So that is going to be basically every 1,000 milliseconds it executes that function. So I think that's what we need to start. No, that's how we need to do this. And we just set that to be this times 1,000. Number of seconds. One of the things I have learned is always comment your code, because you'll come back to it months later and go, what the heck does this mean? Even if you make really, really obvious like variable names. Max rows of what? Seats per table. I mean, some of them are self-explanatory, but sometimes, oh my god. To put things in perspective, I went back to my some of my old tabletop simulator builds in Lua, had a look at the code. I had no heckin' idea what was going on. It's one of those where it's like, I might have to start that from scratch, and that might be another coding project in future. Because blooming heck, that was... I mean, the other thing is Tabletop Simulator is quite old at this point. It's... How long has it been out for? And it uses its own kind of flavour of Lua as well. Released in 2014. It's been out 10 years. 10 years. Yeah, that's how long Tabletop Simulator's been out for. That is nuts. I think I started out doing stuff on Tabletop Sim probably 2014. So probably the year it came out. I basically took some code that was okay, I guess, written by somebody who their first language wasn't English, and adapted it to make a poker table that sort of worked how I wanted it to. And that's kind of been my experience with development all the way through, is find something that sort of does the thing I want it to do, figure out that it doesn't exactly do the thing I want it to do, and then break it until it does the thing I want it to do. So that's our transition time there. I'm going to actually... No. No, let's not do that. So what happens if... So how do we re-trigger an animation? Do we make it... Oh, if we make it hidden and then show it again. So if we actually change the display to none and then change it back, would that work? Also, which bit are we with? Okay. The other thing is, if we have two different timers running, so if we have one for hide and one for the text change, then that's going to cause a problem, because then if something gets out of sync for some reason, or there's a race condition, it's going to start changing on the screen. So what we probably want to do is, for the moment, what I'm going to be doing is putting the texts directly into the JavaScript. The reason is, right now, I've tried so many different ways to try and get it to read like CSVs and TXTs and all that, and pull from there, and I just keep getting the same error, and nobody has seemed to be able to work out why. And it might be because it's sort of over my head a little bit. Might be because I'm doing stuff that this isn't usually used for, right? This isn't usually used for stuff running on the same machine. This is used for, you know, people browsing the internet or remoting in, not on the same machine, on the same client. So I don't know. There's probably a way to do it, and it probably involves setting up a WebSocket or something like that. Or I'm throwing words out there at this point because I don't know what half of these things are. Like Node.js, I know it's a node-based JavaScript thing, but like it's a whole new system, and it might need an entire rewrite from the ground up if I do that. So this is going to be. This is an improvement because we just have to type the text in. So what we're going to do is we're going to make an array. Naming variables is always the hardest part, right? So we'll make an array of screen texts. And I'm just going to use the ones I already have. As I think it's in the goofs folder. Yeah, okay, so we have Dunking Biscuits. Probably going to do it like this, just so we have an idea of shuffling decks. Everything is fine. Extinguishing fires. Nothing is on fire. Flailing wildly. Calling for. A lot of these are references to poker, because that's the first stream we did, and that was sort of where this came from, where I made this mounting soapbox. think that's steeping. Yes. Okay. I'm just going to quickly check in our template what the actual font settings are. I don't think anything goes over, so it's condensed and it's 256. Okay, so condensed is the... I know I did this before. Where did I do this before? Was it in the timer? It'll be in the CSS somewhere for one of these. In dev. I think it's in the leaderboard style. Or is it in blinds? Linear gradient, width, height, absolute, uppercase, text transform. No, it's not in there, so it's going to be in blinds timer style. Just have a look. Font weight boulder, font stretch condensed. That's what I'm looking for. So in theory, if I do this, that just fits. That's neat. I can foresee a problem, but it's only really going to be a problem. We'll cross the bridge when we come to it. But as you can see, when the page first loads, it doesn't. It loads with it in the middle and then does the animation. Oh, because we've got a... I'm a numpty. Because we've got a delay on the animation. Oh, even then, it's slightly cached, isn't it? We might have to do some fancy stuff here. We might have to start with it off. I mean, it's only for the first one, and usually I turn it on as I'm going live. So it might not be too much of a problem. We'll see. We can always test it, and we can always change things. Because that's what we're all about, is experimenting, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, and probably breaking things in the process, frankly, but you know. So what we want to do is, for each of these, we basically want to make a, so we want to randomize the array each time, right? That's the plan, is we want to Okay. So let's do this as a function. We're going to call it shuffle texts. I might need to pass something into there, because what I don't want is I don't want the... So how I'm envisioning it is we put all of these in a bag, and then we draw from the bag at random until we're at the bottom of the bag. And then the last thing, we just make sure that the first thing in the next shuffle isn't that thing. So that is what I'm looking at is, so is there a for each method? For each. Oh, that works very differently to how I'd expect. That works very differently. So I'm just going to copy some code across from Stack Overflow, and I'm not putting it in just yet. I just want to see. I want to sort of step through it and have a look. So they are taking this array. Let current index equal array.length. So the number of items in the array. While current index doesn't equal 0, let random index equal math.floor. So the lower limit of math.random times current index. So they are opening. They're opening with this, using random to pick an element from what's left, because it goes between 0 and 1, so by timesing it by the current index you subdivide 0 to 1 by what's left. And then they're reducing the current index. So wait, what? Oh, and then they're swapping. Okay. So they're working from the bottom up. So what happens is, let's say we've got our list here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 elements. We'll say 10, just to make it easier. Let's say you've got 10 different things, right? What it's doing is it's going, okay, let's find element 10. So it rolls a 10-sided dice and it takes whatever's the result on that and goes, okay, swap what's in position 10 with whatever that is. Great, we're done. Position 9. But then it's only looking from 9 upward. It's removed 10 from the equation. That's an interesting way of doing it. The trouble is that I want to ensure that element 11, element 10 in the previous shuffle, is not element 1 in the current one, in the new one. Because it would look very weird if something went off screen and then came straight back on. So this could work. Let's test it. Let's test it. You know what? Let's test it. So array is called screen texts. And then, so let's do this shuffle and we will log the oh, hold on. No, I just realized something. Okay. So we're defining the function. Right. How do I run this? Let's have a look. I think I might have to launch an instance. And we are going to copy path and paste. So it's made a new array. don't know if you can see this in the log here. So it goes boiling kettle, steeping tea, flailing wildly, mounting soapbox, shuffling decks, etc. So that works. That does the job. So we'll use that. The only thing I need to do is make sure I need to log somewhere in this. So let's have a new element called final text. We'll just put it at null for now. So let's go. So it's done all this. So final text. If array 0, which is the first element in the array, equals final text. Oh wait, no. Is that it? If statements are weird. So if statement. Okay. We'll do it like this. Oh wait, yeah. That's what the problem is. So in theory, if else final text equals dot length. So what we're doing is the last thing we're doing after we've shuffled the array is we're going, is the first element, which programming works by starting from 0 in a lot of languages. Some of them don't start from 0, and it's really annoying, and I wish that everything was consistent, but it's not. Oh wait, no, array.length -1, because the array length is if I remember correctly, array.length is doesn't give back 0, it gives back 1 if there's a single element. Yeah, so it gives 4 for 4 elements. Okay. So it's, pardon me. Okay. So we've got our new array. So what we need to do is we need to take that and transform So on start, we want to shuffle screen texts right. This is where interval comes in, isn't it? So we actually need... We don't intend to stop it, so I don't think we need to set it as a variable. So set interval whatever we do here is going to be done at slide time times 1,000. So whatever we do in here is going to happen every 30 seconds. It's going to be whatever this number is in seconds. Tea is probably drinkable now. So set interval this is the point at which I'm slightly out of my depth. So it's a method function milliseconds and then parameters, optional parameters to pass into the function. Okay. So we're going to have a new... Yeah. So let's have... up here, function change So this should go back into itself. That's fine. So for change slide, we want so what we're doing at the moment is we are telling it, okay, first thing we want you to do is shuffle this up here, and then we want you to change slide and do that every 30 seconds. Now we just need to tell it how to change slide. I'm going to have a mull on this. While I do, I'm going to run some ads. I'm also going to have a bit of a stretch. So you're not going to miss anything. We're back in a little bit. Just gonna run some ads very quickly, and I'll see you in a little while. Just gonna have a quick stretch. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back. Sorry, I was just very, very aware that I hadn't stretched in a little bit, and I don't want it to be future me's problem, basically. So, where were we? Nothing is on fire. We were at the point where we were setting an interval to change slide. Now what we need to do in this function is we need to change the text that's on screen. We need to trigger it to come on. Sorry, we need to trigger the text that's currently on screen to go off, disappear it, change the text, make it reappear in order for it to come back on. think that's how we're going to do it. I think that's the plan. So the first thing we need to do is tell the text to go away. So we're going to do document dot get element by ID, and we've called this. In fact, it's going to be easier if we do it this way, because then we don't have to type that out 500 times, and we can always change it if we need to, rather than changing it 500 times. So text element dot class list dot add we want to add hide. We're going to make this a 0 millisecond thing. Text element dot I don't want to do inner HTML. Value doesn't seem right. SB text. Maybe it is in HTML. Oh wait, hold on. Always remember your semicolons. We need a slide number, don't we? Slide number plus plus. So we're going to increase it. Text element dot inner HTML equals, wait no, if slide number less than screen text dot length. So So what we're doing there is we're checking to see. So we're hiding the element that's on screen. We're then increasing the slide number. If the slide number is less than the length of the array, so the length of this, then we're going to pick that element. Else. Slide number equals 0. And then we want to shuffle. And then once it's done that, is that it? Is that the plan? And then text element. If we make something how to replay animations, JavaScript, CSS. So we then want to disappear it. There was a visibility thing in here somewhere, wasn't there? Text element dot style dot visibility equals hidden. JavaScript, no CSS. We actually want to do that before we change the text, just in case. Then we want to no, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way whilst it's in code. So we've changed the text, and then we do text element. Oh, hold on. No, this is going to go horribly, horribly wrong. Because it's going to add this at the same time it adds this. Which means it's just going to hide it. Oh, hold on. That's a problem. What we're going to do is we're actually going to do this at 99. So it goes all the way first, and then at 100% hides the object. That works, right? Yeah. So now we don't need to worry about this. How do we do a wait? Slow down. Jesus Christ. So the trouble we have is that we need to wait for this to become maybe we do need two texts. Maybe this is harder than I first thought, which always seems to be the way. Okay. Animation end. Animated.add event listener. This is JS, okay. Okay, so we need to add an event listener. This is going to be interesting because I haven't done event listeners before. So what we need to do is we need to do text element dot add event capital E. So JavaScript add event listener. So type listener options. Specifying this. Okay. So event then function. Okay. So we're going to change this to hide slide and make this hide slide. So now function show slide. So we're moving things around a little bit, and the reason for that is that if we ran things as they were, what would happen is that we would start the hide animation and then immediately change the text, which is not what we want to do. What we want to do is we want to change the text once the animation's ended. So how we're doing that is we're listening for an event called animation end, at which point we're going to show the slide. So you can pass parameters into it. What is use capture? Adding many event handlers to the same element. Yes, you can do that. Okay. You can also do it to the window object. That's interesting. Event bubbling or event capturing? Oh, okay. It's right. So what that is which order it should prioritize events in. Should it prioritize the lowest down the hierarchy or the highest up the hierarchy first. That doesn't matter for us because we've only got one thing that we're doing. I think I need to remove the event listener after we're done. Yeah. So text element dot remove. Okay. Hold on. Okay. So now what we're doing is once it's done the animation, we go, okay, show the slide. The first thing we do is remove that event listener so that it doesn't keep re-triggering. Increment the slide number. Double check if it's still within range. If it's within range, great. Change the text. Otherwise, set it to 0, shuffle everything, and then do it. Once that's done, we should be okay to do this all in one. So we're going to class list. Need to remove hide first. I think that's everything. Now we're going to run it and see that we've massively messed this up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the slide time to 10 seconds just so we're not sitting here all day and see what happens. That didn't work, did it? That didn't work at all. Oh. That pink thing in the top left isn't me. So that's probably an error. Oh, it's not there at all. Oh, no, that's the track. Okay, interesting. Let's debug. See what's going on.
Everything looks fine. Okay. Launch.
Oh, yeah, no, we're not gonna see it because it's gonna be.
So there is an array. It hasn't run it though. Why? Let's go each step of the way. Let's just collapse all these functions to make sure that there's not like something I'm missing. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Oh, you know what it is? I mean, I'm not getting any errors, which is the weird thing. Nothing's failing. Stuff's just not executing. The shuffle is definitely running. So why isn't this running? What have I done differently? So this function starts it going. Is it simple as this? Is that it? Cannot read properties of null, reading class list. Am I gonna have to put that in everywhere? Surely not. No, you just double check. No. That looks fine. Something's not right here. Is it the spaces? Is that the problem? Am I a noob? No. Hide slide at 61. Okay, so that's been called. For some reason it doesn't like that. So let's just replace it with this for That works for some reason. I guess we're just going to have to do that manually. Oh, it's doing it again. What? Cannot read properties of null. Reading class list. But it's not null. I don't know what I've done there or why that's not working. Let's add this to everything, just in case. So everywhere that there's the word text element, let's do this. How about now? Reload. Still a problem. Dot class list dot add. Line 1. Column 44. I don't see why that's not working. Document go. I think I know why. The script is being run before it's being loaded in. Is that it? Is that it? Was that the problem? Hold on. Okay. We no longer have an error. It's just not doing anything else. So it's not running any of the scripts. Maybe we run it in the header. Forgotten how it works again. Source. SRC. Try again. Okay. Yeah, so let's try outside of the div, but before the end of body. that worked.
That didn't.
Okay.
This is clearly a lot more complex than I first thought, but we have sadly run out of time for today. So what I want to say is thank you all for coming out. Quick shout out to PJ, who is responsible for the art that you can see in that corner there, top right. That's all he's doing. We are going to be heading over to a friend of mine, Topper. It is their season finale tonight. They're doing 2 games. So if you're into quizzes, that kind of stuff, stick around. Pop in, say hi. They're doing their adaptation of an old ITV game show called Spinstar. That had 1 season and was never seen again. Hosted by Bradley Walsh before the chase was even a twinkle in his eye. And the second game is called The Diamond, which is his own creation. Both of them very good fun. Spinstar's a good watch. And The Diamond's kind of a choose your category, pick your battles kind of game. So we're going to be heading over there very shortly. Thank you all for coming. Thank you to those of you that followed. Nev, thank you very much. Hopefully I will see you all again. I'm going to try and stick to Sundays around this time. I think that's the plan, is to stick to this kind of time. And we'll go from there, because this seems like a good time of the week for me to do it. I've got nothing else planned for the rest of the day. It doesn't really intersect with anything else that anybody's doing. And it's very much, you know, a chill time of the afternoon. But yes, thank you all for coming along. And we are going to be heading over very shortly to Topper. Have a good evening.